You're listening to Queued for Thought on CJLO 1690 AM. I'm Richie.
And I'm Nate.
Wow, Nate, I must say, your hair looks fantastic today.
Thank you. Hot date.
Oh, yeah, hot date tonight with a nice guy.
Destiny.
Nate, I'm in a great mood right now.
Are you really?
Because I just finished my exams yesterday.
It's a pretty glorious feeling.
It's great. I don't have that guilt weighing on my mind all the time. I feel fantastic. So we have some guests in the studio today.
Some guests.
Hello.
Plural.
Hi.
It's exciting.
One of them is named Jeremy.
That's me. I'm Jeremy. Hi.
And
The
the other
other?
one
I'm Joel. Hello.
is Joel. And Nate, I don't know about you, but I like to play instruments. I play guitar and drums a little bit and keyboard. Nate, do you play an instrument?
Yeah. Music's always been a huge part of my life. I play the piano pretty seriously. I play the bass guitar, and then I sort of diddle on the drums.
You
play a little
diddle on the
guitar.
drums.
I diddle
Yeah,
all
diddle
over
a
those
little.
drums.
You paradiddle on the drums?
Polyrhythmic diddling. I can't. I wish.
I know Jeremy plays the drums as well.
Yeah, I play the drums. I've been playing for a little while now.
And Joel, you told me you play a bit of trumpet.
Yeah, I used to play the trumpet. Fell out of it a bit, but I was pretty into it. I went to band camp for a couple of years.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
That makes you super cool and perfect for this show.
Oh, sure.
This episode today, you're all going to like this if you like music, because we're talking about musical instruments.
Yay! If we used sound effects, I'd throw in clapping.
Yeah. Applause. I want to start you guys off. I want to talk about a really special instrument. It's a special guitar, actually. And it's Peter Frampton's guitar. You guys like Peter Frampton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. Yes.
Actually?
No.
Uh,
I mean,
I just wanted to
he
see
has
how
a
excited
song
you
where
got.
he like makes his guitar sing, right?
I'll get to that.
All right.
But yeah, no, he's quite
Let
good.
me take you guys back to the year 1970. Peter Frampton was young, and he was playing. He had this regular gig with a group called Humble Pie, and he was playing this bar in San Francisco. And he was having some trouble with his guitar. It kept feeding back all the time, and it got annoying for him when he was soloing. It was getting all these loud noises coming out of the speakers. And so after the show, one of the audience members named Mark Mariana approached him, and he offered to help. He said, I have this 1954 Les Paul that I sort of customized a little bit. Do you want to maybe try it out? So the next day, Frampton went over to his house, and he tried it out, and he fell in love with it instantly. And that night, he used it for his 2 gigs. And he insisted on paying for it, but the owner just gave it to him for free. Because, I know, it's Peter Frampton, you give him your guitar, So that guitar became his signature instrument. He was so in love with it. He loved the sound. He loved that it wasn't feeding back. And he used it on a lot of his famous solo work when he really became popular. His 1976 album, Frampton Comes Alive. It's one of the most successful live albums ever existing. So he was pretty attached to it. And then in November 1980, the guitar was aboard a cargo plane on its way to Venezuela, where Frampton was waiting for it because he was going to perform there. And the plane crashed, and the guitar was thought to have been lost. But it turns out that someone rescued it from the burning wreckage and sold it to a local musician on the Dutch Caribbean island of Curaçao. Forgive me. And in 2010, the new owner brought it to a local repairman. I guess he was using it this whole time, and he finally brought it to be repaired in 2010. And the repairman had a keen eye for guitars because he noticed that it could have been the one that Frampton was using during Frampton Comes Alive, because it was pictured on the cover of the album. It's a really famous album cover. So the guitar repairman sent some, I don't know how he got Peter Frampton's email, but he sent him some photos of the guitar and like some of the specs. And Frampton said, well, that could be it. And so the repairman tried to buy it, but the guitarist didn't want to sell it at the time. And then finally in 2012, that guitarist was in some financial trouble, so he got desperate and he wanted to sell it. But the repairman didn't have enough money, so he had to go to the tourist board for help to pay for it. And then the tourist board finally agreed that they would help him pay for the guitar, only under the condition that they could bring it back to Frampton themselves. So the guitar repairman and the tourist board chipped in, bought the guitar from this local guitarist and flew all the way to give it straight to Peter Frampton. And there's this amazing video on YouTube of Frampton playing the guitar, well, not for the first time, but for the first time since he thought it was gone. And he just falls in love with it again, and now he's back to using it.
Wow. It's a reunion with the guitar.
It's a
Lost
crazy
guitar.
story.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
God, I'm
pretty
gonna watch
awesome
the video
story.
after.
He was like in love with that guitar, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared for a while from his life. And apparently his career made this huge downturn afterwards. I guess he got depressed, or he couldn't find the same sound.
Did it pick up slightly after?
Yeah, well, that I guess they're kind of looking for it, so there's a bit of a bias there.
True.
But that's what he claims. He claims it sort of rejuvenated his career to have his guitar back.
Cool.
It's like his mojo, but in a guitar.
Yeah, exactly. He used that exact word. He
Used
said
mojo?
he said it felt like I lost my mojo when he lost his guitar.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the guitar is a great sound if you listen to Frampton Comes Alive, the one where he makes his guitar kind of talk.
Mhm.
Yeah, as you talked about before. Actually, when I was a kid and I listened to one of the songs on that album, "Do You Feel Like I Do," when he's making those guitar sounds, and I was like, wow, Peter Frampton's such a good guitarist. He can make his guitar talk. But obviously it turns out he has this talk box pedal where he has this tube that comes from the pedal, and he puts it in his mouth, and the audio goes through the pedal into his mouth, and then you could shape your mouth into different forms, and it goes back out into the mic as
Yeah, I actually looked into getting one pretty
as
recently.
talking. Yeah, you can actually make one yourself with. There's some ways to do it online, like with
Really?
a Tupperware and some computer speakers. Yeah,
Wow.
it's really cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Worth
Yeah.
looking into.
Yeah, it's a fun project if you're really bored, like really bored.
I fall in that
A lot
category.
of time on your hands.
Yeah.
Well, now that my exams are done, I might look into that.
Oh yeah. Now that my exams are done, I've been like power watching documentaries. Just like I don't know. I think I have to learn things.
I feel like I should be
Body's not
learning right
used
now.
to it.
See, the guilt still carries over after exams are done.
It's never
I
going
shut
away.
my brain off. It's over. Exams are over. My brain is off.
So you're on the wrong show, I think. 'Cause I have some quizzes
Yeah,
later.
Good luck. Good luck on the
Some
quizzes.
brains.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back in a couple minutes. You're listening to Cued for Thought on CJLO 1690.
And we're back on Cued for Thought, 1690 AM CJLO. And we're talking about musical instruments.
Yes, we are.
And this is
Is
a
it quiz
trivia
time?
show. Yeah.
Is it quiz time?
I have to remind you that it's a trivia show, so there are some
Occasionally we
quizzes.
forget.
And if you turn off your brain, you're in trouble because this is...
Uh-oh.
Actually, it's not so hard. Depends how much TV you watch.
All right.
Because, well, TV and other things, my quiz is about instruments in pop culture.
Ooh.
So I'm going to ask you some questions about TV characters or maybe literary characters or famous songs and instruments that are mentioned in them. And we'll see how much you guys know.
All right, GLHF guys, bring it on.
Pressure's on.
All right. Question number 1. Ring in if you know.
How do I
Sorry,
do
we don't
that?
have any buzzers.
One day.
Yeah, make duck
Make
noises.
a weird noise.
Fair enough.
Okay, question number 1. Which Peanuts character plays the piano?
Wow.
Oh.
We go to Jeremy.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
Damn it. I don't know.
Sorry.
Is it Schroeder?
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 point for you. 1 point.
All right, one for Joel.
All
Write that down.
right, we're writing it.
Magic.
All right, question number 2. What kind of saxophone does Lisa Simpson play? And Nate, you can't ring in here because I told you this one.
Quack.
Jared?
I'm gonna say baritone.
Oh,
Very good, very good.
That was a good
That's
one.
intense. I didn't think you guys would get that one.
I
That
thought it
was
was
one
tenor.
out of 2 chance. Alto or baritone.
Oh, it
All
could
right.
have been tenor.
Tenor.
I thought it was tenor.
Oh.
So it's a tie between Jared and Joel right now. Question number 3. What instrument does Andy woo Pam with on The Office?
Oh, that's a good
Wah.
question.
Nate?
Guitar.
Sorry, that is incorrect. He does play the
Oh.
guitar in other episodes, but he doesn't woo Pam with it.
Oh.
Meh.
Yes, Joel.
Is it a piano?
False. Sorry. Jared, do you have a guess?
If it's Jim, I'm gonna have to say.
It's not Jim.
Oh wait, who
it's
is
Andy.
it? Andy. Oh.
I hope it's
Maybe
the triangle.
Wow, what could I guess? Accordion?
Sorry. The answer is banjo.
Ah,
Yeah, it's for true Office fans.
I'm ashamed of myself.
Question number 4. What is the fictional instrument that projects images called on Futurama?
Wah. Holophoner.
Oh,
you didn't
nice
buzz
name.
in.
I did.
I didn't call on you,
certainly
though.
did.
You just
you
buzzed
went
and then
wah.
answered.
Oh, that's true.
All right, 1 point for Nate. 1 point for Nate. 1 point all around. Question number 5. What instrument does George Michael play on Arrested Development? Jer?
Harmonica?
False. Sorry.
Wah.
Nate?
Woodblock.
Yes, very good.
Oh, right.
Yup.
He has such a good sense of percussion.
The human
Yeah, he
metronome, they
does.
call them.
He's very
You know
punctual.
That clip is actually like the length of time that they say. There's something cool about it. I don't even.
They did it in one
remember now.
take or something?
No, they say like he has a expert sense of time, and then at one point, they ask him. I think his dad asks him a question, and then the narrator goes like, "George Michael was thinking
Oh,
about
yeah.
this for 1 minute and 42 seconds now, and if you actually look at like the time that he's thinking about it, it actually is 1 minute and 42 seconds."
There's so many
Like a
hidden gems
funny
in that
little
show,
thing,
little
yeah.
things. Who got that? Nate?
Yes, I did.
All right, so Nate has 2 points. He's leading. Question 6. In the first season of How I Met Your Mother, what does Ted steal to impress Robin?
Wah.
Yes.
A blue French horn.
Very good, very
Mm.
good,
Yeah.
very good.
That's
All right.
quick. Yep.
Tie over here, 2-2.
I'm behind.
Yes, you are. Question 7. In the 12 Days of Christmas song, how many of the days involve musical instruments?
Oh, not even fair.
This is a tough one.
Know your
No
audience.
idea.
4.
Anyone want to take a guess?
4. My guess is 4.
7.
Oh, 7's
Jerry, have a guess?
aggressive.
I'll say 5.
The answer is 2. There are
Oh.
pipers piping and drummers drumming.
Oh.
And bassists
All
bassing.
overestimated.
Bassists standing
All right,
awkwardly.
so right now we have a tie between Nate and Joel, 2-2. Jerry, you can catch up and make a 3-way tie here on this last question. On Parks and Recreation, Ron Swanson secretly plays sax at a jazz club under what alias?
Oh no! I just
I
watched
have
this.
no idea.
Me neither.
You guys don't watch that show?
No.
Something silver. Something
Oh,
silver.
very close.
It's not Joe Silver. I don't know.
I'll give it to you. It's Duke Silver.
Duke Silver. Yeah.
Nate, you win this quiz.
Okay.
You win this quiz for
Two
Duke
point,
Silver.
2.25 points for that one. Cool. So, I was looking up musical instruments last night. I'll be honest. And I wanted to find a set of instruments that were played either in a strange way or use something sort of non-conventional to make sound, right? So we all are pretty familiar with a good number of musical instruments, right? So we know that like there are wind instruments and percussion instruments, but there are some instruments that I guess they fall into a category, but you wouldn't normally think of them. So I compiled a bit of a list, and I'll tell you a little bit about them and show you what they sound like. So the first is an instrument I found on Reddit. It's called the American Photo Player. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's currently my favorite thing. There are only about 55 left in North America, and they were used to make the sound that backed silent films. And the idea was you could get someone who's not musically trained to sit at a photo player and make all the sound necessary for an entire film. So it's made up of a player piano that is also attached to a player organ that is also attached to a player's xylophone.
Whoa.
And contains like a full drum set and all sorts of sound effects. It's got train whistles and car horns and a telephone and a fake gun.
What?
And basically what musicians would do who wrote the music is they'd make the roll of paper for a player piano, and on it would write in percussion cues. And the person would sit with a little light and play the sound for the movie. So I have a little recording of one. It goes from 0 to bonkers in like 2 seconds flat. It's so great. So this is the American photo player, spelled with an F, for whatever reason.
Hipsters.
Photo.
It's so great.
I'm waiting for the fire horn.
It's coming out. Also got one that
But the audio is just the tip of the iceberg with this instrument, because I've seen videos of a guy playing it. It's so impressive to watch. Like, he's pulling all these strings, the whole contraption.
Oh, and he's so into
So
it
it's
too.
one guy making all those sounds.
All that sound.
He's
Yeah.
just like sitting at a piano pulling strings and honking horns, and it's
That's
so
great.
funny.
It's really cool, and there's actually a fair amount of music written for it that was written for films. They all sound like old-timey circus music, but oh man, it's so much fun. You guys should all check it out. So the second thing is an instrument that's not played by a person, which I thought was kind of cool. So it's called a sea organ, and there's one in Zadar, Croatia. And what it is the full length of one beach that's made of these marble steps with little holes in it. Under those holes, there's a big resonating cavity, and it uses the wind and waves from the sea to generate kind of seemingly random harmonic sounds. Just pretty cool. It was created by this architect called Nikola Basic. I think Basic, or I don't know, it's really hard. There's all sorts of lines around. And it opened on April 15th, 2005. So I'll play a little clip of that. It sounds a bit weird. Like, I don't think I could listen to an album of Zadar
Does one
sea
exist?
organ
Sea organ.
sound. But it's kind of cool.
Sea organ greatest hits.
So
I
you
like
just
the
walk
one.
by the beach and hear this.
Yeah, I like the one where it goes whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's my favorite part.
So yeah, there's a whole beach that just sounds like this all the time.
I think I'm doing a cover of this.
Remix.
You can like go jam with nature.
That's kind of cool, actually. There's a second instrument that's kind of in the same vein, and it's called the Singing Ringing Tree, and it's a wind-powered sound sculpture that kind of looks like a tree in Lancashire, England, and it's about 3 meters tall, and it's made of galvanized steel pipes in a big spiral, and they range like a few octaves, and the wind blows through them at whatever angle it's blowing and creates different sounds. So I'll play that pretty quickly for you. It's my computer making sounds and embarrassing us. There you go. Kind of eerier,
Right.
but still kind of cool. Like,
I
I
would
wish...
not want to jam with that one.
No.
I feel like if you live next to it, you can never shut it off, you know?
Shut up!
It's constantly making noise.
This next one's really cool. It's called a Zeusophone. Can you guess what makes the sound?
Molested young boys.
What? Zeus.
Where did you get that?
Zeus. He was a big fan of the young boys.
I did not know that. Wasn't
Yeah.
he a god?
Yes, he
Yeah, I
was.
learned.
Greek
Well,
god
they-
of thunder. Is it thunder?
It's lightning.
Lightning.
It's not boys.
No, it's not young boys.
You're close though.
Yeah, nice. Next time.
And we've been canceled thanks to you.
Yeah, that's the sound of the silence of our radio
Yeah.
station. So no, it's people have created Tesla coils that they can modulate the pitch of, and they can digitally fix it to produce musical tones. So that kind of sounds really cool. So I'll play that for you. This is 2 of them.
That's pretty badass.
I've seen this video.
Yeah, Joel's a diehard Doctor Who fan.
Oh yeah.
I chose it special.
That
As
sounds
soon as
like
you
a-
started saying lightning bolts, I was like, I feel like I've seen a video where this has been done. It was that one.
Another really cool one is, have you ever seen anyone play music on a series of like crystal glasses.
Yes,
Oh,
I
you kinda
have.
see-
That's really impressive.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Benjamin Franklin saw some guy do that in Cambridge in 1761 and thought to himself, I haven't invented nearly enough things. So in 1962, he invented the glass harmonica, which is a series of glass bowls that rotate with a foot pedal, and you just dip your hands in water and I guess play them almost like a piano.
But your hands don't move the bowls.
Exactly. The bowls rotate and your hands just move across them.
Then you get all the ladies.
So in his version, there were 37 bowls mounted horizontally on an iron spindle. The whole thing turned, and there was like different colored glass. So A's were dark blue, B's were purple, C's were red, D's are orange, E's were yellow, F's were green, G's were blue, and all the accidentals were white. So it looked really cool, and it's in this ornate box. And so I'll play it for you now. There's also a really terrible movie called The Glass Harmonica. Like, really terrible.
That sounds good for film scoring.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely like a cool instrument. I don't know that I'd take the time to learn how to play it.
Where do you get a teacher for that?
Hey, if it's color coded, you could just follow colors, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a paint by numbers instrument, which is kind of cool. That one, there's like weird stories about that instrument, including that people thought it made you go crazy if you listened to it. And there were all these rumors, and so just about 100 years after it was invented, nobody played it because they thought they'd go crazy. And there was actually a German musicologist called Friedrich, oh my god, Rochlich? I don't know. It's really tough to say, but he wrote, I'll quote it. The glass harmonica excessively stimulates the nerves, plunges the player into a nagging depression, and hence into a dark and melancholy mood that is apt method for slow self-annihilation. If you are suffering from any kind of nervous disorder, you should not play it. If you are not yet ill, you should not play it. If you are feeling melancholy, you should not play it.
Based on that little clip you played, that seems kind of reasonable, actually.
Right? It sounds creepy.
I feel like it could drive me insane.
So I've got one more for you, and this one blew my mind. I thought it was such a cool thing. So there's this guy called Mr. Leland Sprinkle in Springfield, Virginia, who's a mathematician and electronic scientist at the Pentagon who loved caves, thought caves were the coolest thing. So he found a cave deep in the Luray Caverns in Virginia and created a musical instrument there
Out of a cave?
out of a cave.
Whoa.
There are 3.5 acres of stalactites in that cave. And he went around and he tapped on each one with a rubber mallet and found ones that resonated perfectly with a musical pitch. He found enough of them to populate an entire organ, which he then wired up together, and he can play the whole cave.
I play the cave.
Right?
What?
I know. And it's got a really cool sound to it. Here, I'll show you.
I gotta hear this.
This is a cave?
This is a cave being
Wow.
played with rubber mallets.
It's called the stalagpipe.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I could actually listen to it for like a while.
This is one of the
Yeah.
coolest things I've
This is
heard.
nice.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's a cave.
It's relaxing.
I like that you can also sometimes hear the water drop.
Like
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This guy must wow. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Must have taken him so long, but
Worth it.
100% worth it, right? So again, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks for listening. You're on Cued for Thought, CJLO 1690 AM.
Oh, today, oh, I'm leaving home, even though maybe and you. I've got to run, and though I hear you say, come back, come back, come back, and I've got to follow my dreams where they take me. So don't worry when I hear you say every day to baby, come back, yeah, come back, baby, come back. And you don't want me to go. And oh my when I hear you say yeah every day to baby, yeah, come back, yeah, come back, baby, come back. Well, they always tell me I'm just a dreamer, but I'll show them and they say, go back, go back, go back, and I'll show them that soul still can want something, still can want something. When I'm sorry, when I hear you say every day, baby, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. You don't want me to go. When I hear you say yeah every day to baby, baby, come back, yeah, come back, baby, come back. I'm sorry I can't come back, and yeah, come back.
Oh yeah, funky drummer.
Is that the Grateful Dead?
What?
What?
Or don't they have like a very similar drum loop on?
Well, that was Funky Drummer by James Brown, which was sampled in a lot of things. I think it's one of the most sampled drum
Okay,
drum
that's why,
breaks
because
ever.
I heard it in a Grateful Dead song. And
That's
also in a
weird that the Grateful
Sublime
Dead
song.
would use it. Yeah, definitely in a Sublime song. That makes sense.
I think Scarlet Begonias by Sublime, which was first a Grateful Dead song, so maybe that's why.
Oh, it could be.
I don't know.
And the
I don't
song
know
you
enough
heard
about Grateful Dead.
before that was "Come Back" by Bam Bam,
Really liked
by a
it.
friend of mine. Yeah, good stuff. Check him out from Montreal.
Was the name?
Bam Bam.
Cool.
Bam Bam. Remember the Flintstones?
Yes.
All right.
It just startled me. I'm sorry. I'm a child.
I hope it startled people in their cars too. Just caused a few accidents. Have you guys heard of gut strings?
Yes, I have.
I know
I
Nate's
have
heard of them.
not.
You guys heard of them?
I don't know. what
I have
you're
no
talking
idea
about.
what that is.
Actually, the more common name is catgut strings, and they're from the earliest string instruments that are known to archaeologists. There were these bull harps and timbres, and they were used by the Sumerians and Babylonians and Egyptians. And the bull harps were made with these tortoise shells, and most of them had silk strings. But sometimes they would find strings that were called catgut strings, and these strings were made out of the wall fibers in animal intestines. So it's thought that catgut is actually a portmanteau of cattle gut. So it's not actually cat's intestines, it's cattle intestines, which makes it so much better.
I like how you used portmanteau in a sentence.
Thank you very much.
beautiful.
Or it could be another theory is that it's from kit, which means fiddle and young cat. So it might have just happened over time that people confused it and started calling it catgut. It could have been kitgut.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they're made of the wall fibers of animal intestines, and they're scraped down and cleaned and then twisted together. And the thickness of the strings is determined by the amount of guts used. So they'll like make all these strings of guts, and they'll twist more together to make, like, say, bass strings versus guitar strings. And it's usually sheep or goat intestines that are used, but sometimes cattle are used as well. So that's where cattle gut may have come from. And the thing is, it's not only used in string instruments, it also could be used as snares on snare drums. You know, on the bottom they have those strings that go across to get that sort of crunchy sound. Something you could put catgut strings, and they're actually selling them online still. Like, you could find them on eBay, catgut strings for your snare.
Yeah, people still play gut strings.
Yeah, and apparently marching bands use catgut snares a lot.
Really?
And they're also used in tennis rackets and archery bows and hanging weights on really expensive clocks.
Okay.
And there was a point when they were used to close wounds in medical procedures, but it's been largely replaced by synthetic, obviously, because people were getting mad cow disease from using cattle guts to suture wounds.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, you can imagine, like, all the infections that come from that. It's pretty horrible.
You'd think there'd be a way to clean it.
Even so, though, it's like, I don't know, there must be something there.
You don't get mad cow disease from, like, leather seats in a car.
Maybe
you also don't eat them.
Yeah, it's not in your body.
It's suited to you.
Yeah.
Nate, you told me you used catgut strings once.
Yeah, I have. I was taking double bass lessons when I was in CJEP, and my bass teacher had 2 yellow strings and 2 metal strings. And I always asked him, "Hey, what are those?" He said, "Gut strings," but I always just thought that was some name. Then
gosh.
I asked if I could play them, and he said, "Yeah, of course." I was playing, and let me tell you, they sounded funky. They sounded really, really good. And here's the best part. They started getting really sticky.
Oh.
I said, "Oh man, why do they get sticky?" He says, "Well, it's animal fiber." I said, "Wait, gut strings?"
Wait, gut means gut?
That being said, really good stuff.
I like how you say they sounded good, like as if that justifies the disgustingness. Like
I don't know. I think if I still played the double bass, I might want to try.
Like the hollowed out skulls of little kittens make really good bongo drums. They sound amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet
If
they
you get
do.
over the fact they have to kill kittens to make them, they're just fantastic.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna eat the animal, kill the animal to eat it anyway, then you can recycle its guts and make
Yeah, for
instruments out
strings,
of it.
why not? Why not use all of it?
I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, if they do sound that great, I guess.
As long
The
as
ends
you're not
justify the
mass
means.
producing cat gut.
So you guys ready for another quiz?
I am
Oh,
down.
I'm ready.
All right. So this quiz, I'm going to play a clip of an instrument. Most of them are solo, so there shouldn't be anything else. One of them has guitar accompaniment, but you'll know it. The goal is to buzz in with the old quacking sound and tell me what generates the sound. Is it a string instrument? Is it a percussion instrument? Is it wind? Whatever. So, start you off with an easy one. What's this?
Strings.
Yep.
Wait, we're supposed to be listening for the guitar or like?
This is the instrument.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Yeah, so Jared
So
said strings.
you got
I think.
strings. Second point, if you can tell me what the instrument is. This is one instrument.
Mandolin.
Nope.
Catgut.
No, it's a Chapman stick, which is in the guitar family. It has 10 to 12 strings, usually 5 to 6 bass strings, 5 to 6 guitar strings, and they're tuned away from each other, so the lowest notes are in the middle, and you play with both hands.
Whoa.
Word.
All tapping. Really cool instrument. All
Sounds
right.
like something you see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like one guy who's really good at it.
All right, next one. What's this?
Strings.
Anyone else?
I got wind instrument.
Wind?
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Oh,
wind
actually, it
as
sounds like
well.
a bagpipe.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of a harmonica.
Because of that droning, eh?
Yeah. Like underneath it all.
All right. That was the hurdy-gurdy, which is a rotary violin. So it's actually a stringed instrument.
Whoa.
It's kind of like a box with violin strings that go through the middle of it and a wheel that you turn with a crank that sort of replaces the bow. But it has droning strings and plucking strings, and you play it with a little keyboard that pushes little frets up instead
Oh,
of pushing
cool.
the string down on a fret like a guitar or a violin.
That sounds
Oh,
really
so Jerry, you got that. You said
Almost.
string, right?
Yeah, it's strings.
He said string
Changed his
before.
answer.
But then I changed and said it sounded like a bagpipe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Damn it.
All right. Number 3.
Eh.
Oh, you know it immediately, didn't you?
Yeah, this one I'm pretty sure is a hang drum.
It's a hang drum. Yeah, 2 points for knowing the type and the actual instrument itself.
Damn, you're killing it in this one.
So it's like a steel drum, kind of looks like a UFO, and it has little
Protrusions?
no,
It's like grooves.
yeah, it's little grooves of different thicknesses, and when you tap them, you get different notes. There's actually one guy who makes them out of propane tanks, and he sells them and calls them Hank drums, which I thought was really cute.
Propane.
And propane
What?
accessories.
All right, number 4. This one has guitar accompaniment, but you'll know when it comes in.
Guitar.
Well done.
He's a genius.
Sounds like Andrew Bird whistling.
Oh, good reference. Half a point.
I gotta say wind
it-
for this one.
This is a tough one.
Is it like electro? Is it like an electrotheremin?
No.
It's not.
I'm gonna say wind as well.
It's a tough one. It's a saw.
Oh yeah,
It's
I've
a
seen
musical
that.
saw.
Where it, like bends and makes
Exactly.
noises.
So what would you call
saw?
that? How would you classify it?
I guess it would be percussion. It's just vibrations. It's kind of somewhere between like a percussion instrument and a wind instrument.
What does it
I
look
mean,
like?
and a string instrument. So it looks like a normal wood saw, except without any teeth. It's quite a thin metal, and you put it between, like, the handle between your legs, and bend the saw and play it with a bow. And the more you bend it, the higher the note you can get is.
Whoa.
It really, really cool instrument.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
All right, next one, and this is one that I wanted to bring in and forgot, but
Damn
here
it.
goes.
Oh, I got it. Didgeridoo.
Yeah, I was gonna
Nope.
say.
Oh.
No? Oboe?
Oh, it's
No.
true. It's not as deep as a didgeridoo.
Oh, is it that thing that smokers use?
I have one of
The hole in
these.
their throat?
How do you have this?
It's great. It's great. Anything? Come on, we gotta get.
Well, it's got to be a
guesses.
wind instrument, right?
Okay. Anyone else?
Oh, there's some. I feel like there's some strings in there.
I hear too much voice, like
Yeah.
breathing
There's-
for it to be.
So, this is called a jaw harp or Jew's harp, and it kind of looks like like a big key, and it has like a piece of metal right in the middle that's only attached at one end and vibrates. And so what you do is you put it up against your teeth, open your mouth, and pluck the piece of metal. So your mouth and teeth amplify the sound. So it's
Okay.
vibration amplified by yourself, and then you can sort of do cool things. We saw the guy play harmonics and a little pitch bending.
So is this like a percussion instrument?
I guess it would be percussion, yeah. Well, this one's tough. Massive brownie points if you can get this one.
Brownies. Is this just a guitar amplifier?
Nope. There's nothing electric.
Whoa.
Can we play that again?
Like a bunch of really squeaky doors.
Is this Miley Cyrus?
Is this what the kids are listening to these days? That's actually a water instrument. So it's full of water and has all these little rods, and you can play them with a bow and move the instrument around to change the pitch, changing the amount of water in each of the
Containers?
Sorry?
Containers?
Yeah, in each of the small containers, there's like water in this bottom diaphragm, and you can lower the tone if it's vertical. And then if you twist it, the diaphragm moves up, and you get a higher pitch.
Some people are so clever.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we got to take a quick break, and we'll be
Wait,
back.
who won the quiz?
Oh, who won the quiz? Jeremy won the quiz. Jeremy,
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy
Yeah, for
decimated
sure,
you
by
guys
far.
in this quiz.
I was
I'm a
just going to say
little
win for
embarrassed
everything.
here. All right. So we'll be back quite shortly.
Can you never lie?
Welcome back, guys.
Thanks.
Wasn't expecting an answer. Although I'm glad I have one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel less lonely. So, we're talking about weird instruments. We're talking about innovative instrument makers, and I didn't think we could finish off the show without talking about chiptunes. Do you guys know what those are?
It's like those crazy piano guys.
No.
I don't know.
Like 60% of the time, I have no idea what you're talking
The
about.
first
but I
thing
like it.
The first thing I think of when I hear chiptunes is like Alvin and the Chipmunks. You know, that trend when they used to like speed up songs back in the
Oh,
50s.
true.
And it
No.
sounded like chipmunks.
No, chiptunes are a bit different. Actually, they're entirely different. There's nothing to do with chipmunks.
Nothing to do with Alvin and the Chipmunks?
No,
Then it can't
zero.
be good.
So chiptunes, or chip music, or 8-bit music, is synthesized electronic music that's used by the production of sound cards or emulations of those sound cards from old computers and video game consoles. So I don't know about you guys. I used to play a lot of video games as a kid.
Also, like that ad we just heard.
Yes, also like that
Ah.
ad we just heard. Yep.
So is it when you borrow a game from the internet and you have like this sort of password generator and there's that weird music in the background?
No.
No, it has nothing to do
No,
with
it has nothing to
chiptunes.
do nothing to do
Alright,
with chiptunes.
I tried.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
By
Oh,
borrow,
borrow.
I
Glad
mean
you know.
steal.
Are you just
Oh,
humoring
borrow.
him?
Those key generators that play weird songs.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
That's
what
I
I'm
just
talking
want to steal the software. I don't want
Which-
to
which
do
we do
weird
not
music.
condone.
We do not
I mean-
advocate that
I mean,
whatsoever.
It never
I said
works
borrow,
for me.
not
So
steal.
Right. With all the intention of buying afterwards.
Right?
Anyway, so in the 1970s, actually in 1951, the first computer music was being made. And by the 1970s, computers and video game consoles, like really old rudimentary ones, started using integrated circuits with sound logic to make music. So in the 80s, there was a computer art subculture called demoscene, which had musicians, graphic designers, and algorithmic programmers joining together to make real-time presentations and music to go with it. So old school video games had like a specific sound to them, right? If we heard them, we'd recognize them immediately as video games, and so this culture is very like gamer centric. It was built by people who grew up with these games, right? Like if we listen to this, for instance, we know what it is.
Classic.
I've never heard this before.
This is Sonic, right?
Oh, so tempting to just like sing Sonic music and annoy everyone, but I won't. Ooh, excuse me.
Earthquake.
So, it was around this time, so like the late 80s, when the Nintendo Entertainment System came out for the first time. So we're hearing Mario now. So it was around that time that video game audio progressed onwards, instead of just like having this logic, right, where you could see the music visualized, like triangles were one note and squares were another note, and so they coded music like that. But they had a very small repertoire of sounds. Like Mario pretty much uses all of them. Soon they started using computer memory to play loops over and over again and just change the pitch as need be. It's important to know that chiptune music, like nowadays, is not just video game music, right? They're not just borrowing sounds from video games. They're using the hardware that video games set up and then used for their sounds to make new music entirely. So chiptune artist Trash80 is often credited as one of the earliest pioneers in the movement, and he started releasing songs around 2000 and developed a device that allowed MIDI. It allowed you to control a Game Boy with MIDI to make music. And so I'll play you a clip of some of his music. It's quite different. And this is made with a Game Boy.
But not the drums, right?
No, everything.
The drums are made with Game Boy?
Everything is used like what the Game Boy could do.
Whoa.
Really cool stuff.
But I guess they kept the actual soundtracks of games simpler than this because it would occupy so much space on the cartridge, right?
Exactly. And most of the time, like the game cartridges weren't sophisticated enough to use the entire capabilities of the system. Right? They're not MIDI controllers. They're small cartridges with a lot of things that they have to get done, and music is not the top of that list.
Yeah.
So as time progressed, there was a proliferation of like old, outdated personal computers and game console that we just abandoned, right? Like I still have my Nintendo 64, but I know a lot of people who've gotten rid of their Nintendo Entertainment Systems and Super Nintendos and Game Boys for sure.
Insane people.
So that actually makes it quite cheap to be a chiptunes artist, right? There are these people that were looking for some new way to make music, and they found old discarded things, right? There's no market for old Game Boys. I mean, now there kind of is.
Hipsters.
And so due to the wide range of video game systems that are available, different sound chips and processors, each system, while sharing the basic like synthesis techniques, has a fairly unique sound. So you can tell, I mean, if you really, really listen to chiptunes, what's being done on a Game Boy and a Commodore 64 and a Nintendo Entertainment System. And it's starting to get really, really big, and there's a massive culture around it. There's something called the Blip Festival, which happens in New York and in Tokyo, and I think as well in California. That is like a worldwide chiptunes festival. And they have movies and workshops and all sorts of music and concerts. And it's really quite cool. And one of the main players in the modern chiptune movement is called Anamanaguchi. They're a rock band out of New York City, and they use like a full band, so I think it's 2 guitars, a drummer, and a keyboard, as well as a hacked NES and Game Boy on stage.
I play the Nintendo.
I think it's so cool. So here is them playing Endless Fantasy. And so I want to have a discussion with you guys. I want to get your opinions.
Please discuss.
So chiptunes, like I said, were based on a very gamer-centric culture. And they rely a lot on nostalgia to get listeners. Right? There's no question that if I listen to chiptunes, I'm kind of brought back in some way to like old school games, like playing Contra, playing the old Sonic games, the Mario games, and I guess the games that sort of shaped my childhood. Do you think chiptunes as a genre can survive past the point where people have played those games firsthand?
Well,
I guess in other words, do you think chiptunes can go beyond nostalgia and become its own, I guess, art form that can last?
When you consider guys like Skrillex right now, it's not too far from, all the ridiculous noises that are coming out of that, like it's not a big stretch from what we just heard to like dubstep, for example.
But I think that people who listen to a lot of electronic music, I mean, personally, I prefer chiptunes over dubstep, and I think that there's a massive majority that prefers dubstep. Both chiptunes and dubstep now are being used and sampled in pop songs. And I think that has this big glimmer of hope for chiptunes. But I think that dubstep has it a lot easier being played in like more mainstream clubs. So what do you guys think?
I mean, I gotta be honest. It's probably one of the first times I listened to chiptunes. I didn't even know what it was. I sort of made up something before, thinking it was completely different. It's cool, I guess, but it's a different sound, and different sounds are always welcome in music culture nowadays. So maybe it could have a future, but I do agree with you. The fact that like the nostalgia effect is probably very real, and people who do listen to this type of music probably have played a lot of video games in their childhood. So it's a good question. I'm not sure how to position myself on this.
Joel, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like as time goes on, it will probably still resonate with people, not because of it might not conjure up feelings of nostalgia, but still it's a very unique sort of electronic sound that people might still be attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
So it might move away from its initial association with video games and
right. I think it
childhood.
has to, especially because video game music nowadays has sort of abandoned these old sound cards, right? No one's using 8-bit music in major AAA titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing games like Halo or Ni no Kuni being scored by, I guess, classical composers and
an
played
orchestra.
with Philharmonic orchestras. Ni no Kuni is phenomenal.
Is that the Halo one?
No, Ni no Kuni is a Japanese game made by Studio Ghibli, which is a film studio. it was scored by Joe Hisaishi, who's done the theme for Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle, and played by the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra.
Wow.
It's like magical the whole way through. So I think chiptunes are not going to keep up, and they're not going to try to catch up to gaming, because for the artists, it's about using this old software. And so I think maybe games that are coming out of like indie circles might still use chiptunes, and they in fact still do. Nintendo still tries every now and then to
Like
have-
Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy is a really good example, and I really, really like Super Meat
That's
Boy.
a good game.
Sounds delicious.
Chiptunes is often seen with pixel art, so that's the style. That's the art style you see in a lot of games and cartoons, where everything's quite pixelated.
That's what I think of when I hear that. stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that as long as pixel art is around, there's always going to be a place for chiptunes. But I don't know, as much as I love listening to it, I don't think like a club scene is going to get much bigger than it is today. And it's fairly big today. You can go to chiptune clubs and chiptune parties and Blipfest, but I don't know how long it'll last. Which is kind of sad, but
We cannot predict the future. Nature.
no, we cannot, unfortunately. So that about wraps us up for today. So thank you, Jeremy, winner of
A pleasure.
the quiz.
Winner of various quizzes.
What an honor.
Put it on your CV. Thank you, Joel,
Thanks
for being
for
with us
having me.
today as well. Thank you to my beautiful co-host Richie.
Thank you for calling me beautiful.
It's a chore
I'm still trying to get over your hair. Did you use new conditioner this morning?
every day.
Some kind of product.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you guys very much.
Tune in next week. Again, same time, 2 p.m. Wednesday, CJLO.
1690.